Yes.
But formal introduction. Welcome. This is Alexis Arnold. We're honored to have you join us today, and she is the co-owner of the amazing Epiccons. You guys are Your name explains everything, honestly. Like epic, I can't tell you how many times I've said it. Like this is an epic lineup. This is amazing. It's better than amazing. It's epic. So
Thank you. We
it's
have so much fun with it. So,
it's so fun. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what are your hobbies, family? Like, where did you grow up? What did you want to be when you grew
as
up?
you hear them talking. So yeah, so I born and raised in Indiana, still live here. I am married, have 3 kids. We previously just had a cat, and then we've decided why not add to more chaos. So we just got a Newfoundland puppy that's going to be like the size of a horse. She's so sweet. And our whole company, like all of Epic, we met going to conventions by ourselves, which is really cool. And we became friends because we were going to conventions and we're fans of the shows that we get to work with. So it's really fun.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. That's kind of how we started. We all were just fans of the show and we're like, oh, let's talk about it. And now it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of find your people and you're like, hey, we can all talk about the same things and like nerd out over it. So it's great.
Yeah.
Did you know what you wanted to be when you grow up? Like, what did you want to be when you were a little girl?
So when I was little, I wanted to be a veterinarian. And I loved it. I did an internship in high school and I was in there when they had to put a dog to sleep. And I was like, I can't do this. Like, no. So then I'm like, well, what about nursing? Because it's still helping people. Can't do blood. So I so I went to college. My degree is in business administration. And I actually ran nursing homes. So I was a nursing home administrator and specialized in pediatrics. So we took care of children with special needs that their families couldn't take care of them in the home, or they were part of like the foster care system where foster care parents couldn't take care of them. So I did that. Healthcare obviously changed drastically with COVID. And kind of it was in, let's see, September of 2021 was when Anna and I like it was funny because we're like, we should start a convention company. And it was like a joke, like on like a Monday or Tuesday night. And we started Epic that night. Like we just sat there and we're like, oh yeah, it'd be so fun. Like we should do a Vampire Diaries one where they film. And so we just kind of took it from there. And then we were fortunate enough, like it's grown so much that I was able to make this like my full-time thing April of last year. And so now I'm like, it's crazy to think that I ever did anything else because I have so much fun with this every single day. Like there's challenging days, but I'm like, this is so cool. I get to work with like my best friends and I get to meet so many people and like we've became friends with so many people that attend our events and get to work with the cast from these amazing shows that like you see on TV, you see in the movies, and you're like, these people have to be so cool to work with. And now here we are. So
You're
I'm like,
doing it.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're living the dream, literally. Like you even better than what you had dreamed of when you were a kid. So
Yeah. Yep.
very cool. Good, Alex. You want to
Yeah. So how do you and your team decide on which convention theme you'd like to do next?
So the Vampire Diaries, I think, will always be like our number one. We really like doing that because that's like how we started. Like the name Epic was because of the show. I don't know if you guys have seen the Vampire Diaries, but like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, okay, because I was like, I was feeling epic. That's a theme in the show, and so that's how we came up with the name. But like we like the medical dramas. We watched like from the start. So there was a company that did a convention back in like 2017, 2016 for the Chicago shows. And it's funny because most of our team went to that convention to meet Sophia Bush. We never met at that. And so like obviously that convention isn't happening anymore. And so we were like, we need to do something with the medical and first responders. But like all of our first or like our multi-fandom cons that we do, like we love Teen Wolf. we love Gossip Girl. We love God, now I'm drawing blanks. We did stuff with the OC, Twilight, Roswell, New Mexico. So kind of like all the shows that we incorporate, it's because we're fans. And so it's like we know who people want to meet. Like we know who everybody's favorite characters are, favorite villains, things like that. So it's fun. And then we do, if we have open spots, like we'll do polls and be like, what shows do you want to see? And it's cool because we did that for like when we were planning our 2025 events, like what shows and movies would you want to see at our cons? And we had already made a list of like our top ones that we wanted. And we were so in line with what everybody voted for. And we're like, yes, we knew it. Like people want to see this, people want to see that. And so we kind of just go from there. But because we're fans, we're pretty in touch with like what people want to see at cons.
Absolutely.
That's so cool. Yeah.
What was the first convention you guys attended?
So the majority of us, our first one was the One Chicago event, or they had to rename it Chicago Heroes because One Chicago is like trademarked. So the Chicago Heroes event, and I want to say it was 2016, but it was at Navy Pier, and that's where like most of us went to meet Sophia. So I think for the most part, that was probably all of our first conventions.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Let's see. By the way, this is all of our first convention is in Chicago, so we're super excited.
Okay, I love that. That's so great.
Yeah, there's a lot of people flying in from all over the world, all over the country. Everyone's so excited because it's the first graay station combined one in the US because all the ones are usually overseas.
Yeah.
So
well,
like there's a lot of excitement.
Well, so when we first did, this is our first time doing a hotel room block. We haven't done that for any of our previous events. And we like started really low with the number that we were booking. And within like 2 weeks, they emailed, they're like, the room block's full. Do you want to add more rooms? And I'm like, sure. And we've had to do that so many times. And I'm like, this is cool. Like so many people are coming, and we've had people like email that are coming from Australia and like Europe. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like getting to unite all these people that are coming just because they love these shows so much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. The power of TV.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Tell us a little bit more about your amazing team that you guys have. So you said that you were all friends and you all met at the conventions.
Yeah. So we all met, and because we were going to conventions, and everybody like going to previous conventions. So whether it's like a Comic-Con or like any of the bigger conventions, like I feel like there's frustrations on the attendee side because you don't get, like when you go out for an autograph, it's really like just a quick, here you go, take it and go. And we're like, we want to do something that's more like geared towards the fans where they actually get a little bit more time to interact. And then also meet and greets. Meet and greets, I feel like, are a dying breed with conventions. And so I'm like, we never want to lose that because it's so cool getting to sit in like a room with your favorite like actor, actress, and instead of it them being like up on a panel stage and there being like 500 or 600 people sitting there in the crowd, like you're in a small group of 15, and so you get that time to ask those like questions that sometimes don't get asked in a panel. So we all like, we had been friends just because of meeting at conventions. So when Anna and I decided to start the company, I like texted Imani, who's like my best friend, and I'm like, guess what I'm doing? Haha. And she's like, no way. And she's really good at social media. So I immediately like recruited her to do social media, and then like Cindy, and then like we just kept kind of like snowballing from there. And so it's like our closest group of friends, and we live all over the country. So like out of all of us, there's only 2 people that live in the same state, and it's Massachusetts, like one of the smallest states.
Of all places, Massachusetts.
Yeah, I'm like, of all places, like it's not California where there's like 5 million people. Like
Millions.
it's Massachusetts, the smallest state. But and so we just kind of from there, like everybody has different strengths that they bring to the table. And so without us like assigning roles, people just kind of organically were like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this. And so like Sydney does all of like the layouts for the event. So like how photo ops are laid out and autographs and things like that. She does all that, and she handles like our volunteers, like selecting volunteers, scheduling them, putting them where they need to be. And Cindy's over autographs. Imani does like social media. And then Devin does merch, and she does like a lot of our customer service emails. Stacy does vendors. Julia does ADA. I'm trying to go down the list now because I'm sleep deprived with the new puppy. Anna handles like all the finance, and I do like all the talent stuff and then registration. Jess does all of the like talent, like the green room and scheduling their handlers, making sure that they're well taken care of. Trying to like go down my list, make sure I'm not missing anybody. Let's see, because then I'll feel bad and they'll be like, what the heck? Okay, group chat. Let's see. Pretty sure I got everybody. Yeah, Anna, Devin, Julia. Yep. Okay, I got everybody. We're good. I didn't forget anybody. But so we all just kind of like, we knew what our strengths were, and there's never like a power struggle with any of us, which is really crazy because it's like a group of girls working together, and we all like, we know what we need to do, and so we work together and we get it done. And like our group chat every day, all day, like for, I mean, 3 years now, because we've been a company for almost 3 years, like every day it's just constant, like ding ding ding, just talking about everything. So yeah, sorry, I talk a lot.
Awesome. That's okay.
You're
We
fine.
love it.
We do.
so
We love talkers.
Yeah, we love that. Thanks for sharing. That's
Yeah.
such a fun group.
Is Chicago the biggest convention you've done yet?
No. So our biggest one that we've done was the Vampire Diaries one in December that Nina Dobrev came to. And that one, like, it was crazy because we announced her. We were so excited. I don't know if you guys saw on like TikTok and stuff how we announced her, like at the last panel of the day. And we knew that it would get a huge response. We did not realize it would be the response that it got. Like so we keep our events small, like 2,000 people and smaller. We had 70,000 people try to buy tickets for the con.
Wow.
70,000.
Wow.
Like when our ticketing company said that, we were like, oh, okay, like this is nuts. But that was probably our biggest that we've done. And those events, we have like 25 cast members, but obviously like doing a show that's just one fandom, like everybody's wanting to meet every single person there. Like with the multi-fandoms, it's a little bit different because like some people come and they might watch like Station 19 and Grays, but they might have never seen the Chicago shows. So it's not as chaotic for them because they're like, oh, I'm only going to meet like 8 people on this day versus like at our TVD ones, they're like, I have to meet 25 people today. Like I need tickets for it all. But that's probably been our biggest, like craziest one that we've done.
Do you have
So
an
crazy,
idea
'cause
of how many tickets have sold for Epic yet? Roughly?
For September.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's smaller than the 2,000. It'll be a little bit smaller. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Which, speaking of the December one, I was supposed to go and I didn't get to because work called me in. And I lived in Georgia, so I was only like an hour and a half away. And I was like, no.
Well, hey,
But
she's coming back again this December.
might have to go back. Might have to go back. But yeah, that's funny because like I love that whole town. I was like, when I saw that you guys were doing the September, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so good. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We've been following you guys online ever since you announced it last August.
Last
right?
year.
I had tickets.
It was
We had
like a
tickets
year
last
ago.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we did our
Last
pop
one.
up. So we did the pop up, and obviously that didn't go like as planned because the strike happened. And so we joked that whole pop up was just like pivot was the theme, because like I think we had out of our like 8 people that we were initially having, like 6 of them dropped out because of the strike.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my gosh, like, so we were very fortunate. Like Ronan will forever be like, we love him because he just like jumped in, didn't fit the Chicago theme at all, and was just there. And he was amazing. We absolutely love him now. And then we had like some of our TVD people jump in and help. But that was supposed to be like when we were going to announce like that we were doing this convention. And we had to kind of change from there because the first few contracts that we were waiting to get signed, they wouldn't sign during the strike. And so we didn't get to announce it like the way that we wanted, but I feel like overall people have been excited. And it's crazy because it's like we announced it, I mean, a full year ago, and it's like, okay, it's here. Like we're finally here.
Yes.
Happening so soon.
One question everyone in the fandom wants to know is, are there going to be more guests announced?
Yeah, so we do still have a few more, obviously with Gina and Miranda canceling because of the professional obligations. But we still did have a couple more that we are waiting for them to sign. And we're like, come on, guys, like we're a month out, let's move. So as soon as we get those signed, like we're announcing. So we're hoping everybody will like sign this week. And so it'll be like kind of a lot thrown at everybody at once, but then we can say the lineup's final, we're good.
Yeah, and then you can start scheduling.
Yeah, because I'm like, I have the schedules, like I'd already started on it and was almost done. And then when I got those emails on Friday, I was like, this always happens. Like, I don't know why I start working on the schedule early, because as soon as I do that, somebody cancels and then I have to sit there and redo
pivot.
it. Yeah, but
pivot.
Yeah, pivot. But it's fine. Like, I think it'll be fun. And I think people will be happy with the last few guests that we have. So
Oh yeah.
And that's all she's saying.
yes.
Yeah. Just wait and see. Follow online and you'll see the announcements.
Yeah.
When they have the signed contracts, they will announce.
Yes. I'm like, pen to paper, people, pen to paper.
Yeah. That's so cool. I feel like we need to send you a orange couch, because like you guys have to pivot a lot. You guys are pros at it by now. I'm sure you're just like, okay, that's fine. We got to pivot.
Yeah, it was just like, it's so funny because like we still get so bummed anytime somebody cancels, even though at this point, like
it happens.
There's going to be a cancellation for every con.
Yeah.
Like we know that, but they still hurt every single time because it's like we want to meet them so bad. Like I've not met Miranda and I haven't met Gina, and I'm like, I needed Gina's signature on my TV board. Like, dang it. And so I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna have to have her back at some point because I need that signature. But like it's still, and like we were notified about Miranda like right as I was walking in the movies to go see It Ends With Us, and I was like, this is gonna have to wait 2 hours. Like, and so I was just trying not to focus on it. But the girls were all so bummed like that entire time I was at the movies, because they're like, this sucks. Like everybody was so happy about her. And yeah.
Well, they like you.
There's always next year.
Yes, always next
Yeah.
year.
Let's see. Tell everybody about what options are being offered at ECC2 for the fans to interact with their favorites.
Yeah, so panels are included with your admission tickets. So with panels, it's a group of actors up on stage, and you can sit there in the audience and ask questions. So obviously, like with it being like a 45-minute Q&A panel, there's not like everybody in the audience can't ask questions. But a lot of times, so like people line up to ask questions at the microphone. And normally somebody asks a question, and then the cast up on stage, they end up kind of like on side conversations about it up on stage. So you get to hear really cool things about like behind the scenes things that happen, pranks that happened on set, like upcoming projects that they're working on, funny moments that like happened when they were filming, kind of things like that. And then photo ops, which those are pretty quick. So you'll be in line, and then you go up and then you get a photo with your favorite person. And you get a QR code that you scan, and you can immediately download it onto your phone, because we know everybody likes to post their pictures like, oh my gosh, I met Stefania, like, and so you're immediately wanting to post it so that way all of your friends can see. And so you have that, and then autographs. If you want to get something signed, they'll have their headshots at their table, or you can bring an item of your own from home. The only person that you can't bring an item in for is Shamar Moore. Those have to be one of the headshots at his table. That's the only one, but we have that like in the description on his autograph ticket. And that's a little bit more time. Like you can go up and kind of talk to them a little bit while they're signing your item. And then we have meet and greets, which are 30 minutes, and it's in like a private room with a group of 15 fans, or up to 15 fans, because not all of them will sell out. And then the actor, and you just get to sit there and you can ask them questions, talk to them, and then at the end you get a selfie on your phone. So, yeah.
Very cool. I love how intimate you guys do your meet and greets. 15 people. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so fun. I got to do help with Nikki Reed's meet and greet in March because she's an icon. I love her so much. And so I got to go in and help with hers, and it had been a while since I had been in a meet and greet because I'm normally running around doing like 5,000 other things at the con, and I was like, I honestly forgot how cool these are. Like, it was so neat. And she's such a calm person anyways. Like the energy in there was just so like zen the whole time. So yeah, meet and greets, like if there's somebody that you absolutely love, I would highly recommend doing a meet and greet with them because you get to take so much away from that 30 minutes. Like it's definitely a good memory.
Yeah.
Very
In
cool.
some of the cons in the past that station fans have gone to, the panels have been live or recorded. Is that an option with Epic?
So we do not make them live. Depending on contracts, some of them we end up putting on our YouTube channel, but some of them we don't. It all just depends on contracts. So
Okay.
Let's see.
All right.
We were excited to see what vendors you'll be featuring and saw the amazing t-shirt design. Sneak peek, everyone. Can you tease any more vendor setups that we might look forward to seeing?
So we're actually, that's why I'm going to Chicago today to kind of figure out like the final spacing, because we do have a couple more vendors coming. Dina and Bob Summerholder, which is Ian Summerholder's brother and sister-in-law, they like always will be at our events, no matter what. So they'll be there. So you can meet, they call him the OG Summerholder, the original, but so he'll be there. And we do have a couple of other vendors that are setting up, and we have a couple surprises that hopefully within the next couple weeks we can announce that'll be at ours. But I can't remember. This is for like YouTube, so people will actually see like the shirt, right? If I show it.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
Here, I'll show you this. So they went with like a retro when Devin and Jessa were designing this. They went with like a retro Chicago Bulls vibe.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool, only the finest. And then it has like the cities, so like New York, Seattle, Austin, Los Angeles. And then it has like the event dates here, and then has like the little medical symbol, police, FBI, fire, and then Chicago at the bottom. So, and it's like a cream color, which normally we like. I'm not a fan of white because I will spill stuff on me like the second that I wear it. And so I was like, I'm putting this on just for this and I'm taking it right back on. But yeah, so this is the first time that we've done like a cream color, but I'm really excited because I feel like it fits just with like, I mean, with us going kind of like the retro Chicago vibe, like it really and it
covers everyone.
Yeah. It's so cool. You guys did a great job.
Thank you.
All right. Susan, do you want to go next?
Sure. I'm gonna skip down a little. Did you anticipate how quickly Danielle and Stefania would sell out? And did you know how popular they are when you guys contacted them?
Yeah, so I knew they were very popular. Danielle, like, it's one of those things though, you don't know until you put things on sale how fast they're gonna go. And we knew that she would sell really well. We just did not know that like her meet and greets and everything would sell immediately. And we dealt with that then too with like Eric Winter and Melissa O'Neill's meet and greets. Like we were like, oh God, like this is nuts. And we were like very pleasantly surprised by it because it's like, this is great. Like, we're so happy that the fans are getting a chance to meet them. And then with Stefania, like the whole time everybody's like, bring Stefania. And we're like, we know.
We're trying.
So we were like very prepared for that. When we announced her, we knew that was going to be chaos. But yeah.
Yeah, we told Danielle in our last interview with her that she sold out faster than Taylor Swift, and she still doesn't believe us.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll have to like
So
embarrass
when you guys bring her, when you guys pick her up from the airport and stuff, make sure she knows.
Yeah, we can call her out about it on the panel stage.
Yeah,
She's your panel.
absolutely. Yeah, and because like everyone knows where they were when you guys announced Danielle, and then we were like, oh my God, what were we gonna do when they announced Stefania? And thankfully you scheduled it.
Yeah.
So we had a clue.
Yeah, because we just didn't we did not expect it to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So we apologize for putting your things on sale right away because we were like, oh, we probably should not have done that. But
I kind of liked it. It was a big adrenaline rush, like I've never experienced that before. And so when people say like the rush of getting tickets for the conventions, I'm like, oh, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. It's exciting.
So it's funny because it's a different rush nowadays doing it online versus camping out for concert tickets back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so grateful we don't have to camp out for stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know how those people did it. Some people still do it now just to get like the early entry wristband. And I'm like, no, I'll sleep. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like sleep.
Oh, that's exciting. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh yes. So we've kind of already talked about this, but their Saturday lineup includes for Station 19 specifically, Gray Damon, Jay Hayden, Jana Lee Ortiz, Alberto Frezza, and Brett Tucker. Sunday's got Danielle, Savory, Stefania Spampanato, and Jason George. So we've got a heavy lineup, and every Station 19 fan is so completely thrilled that we finally have one in the US. How did you guys feel? How do you, I guess, actually feel about having the first convention for this group of people in the United States?
Really good. So we watched Gray's forever ago as Station 19 first started. We were watching that, and most of the girls on our team now, they've finished watching it. So it's really cool, and getting to have, because we have most of the main cast, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I really wish that we could get Barrett. We would love to meet her. So badly would love to meet her. And I know she's back on socials now, and we're like, please. But it's
Come join your friends.
Yeah, but it's really cool because especially the trio op with Graay, Alberta, and Jana on Saturday, that's gonna be really cool. But I don't know, they're standing here, both the kids are here now. Go guys.
That's okay.
But I mean, we're so excited about it, and I think that entire weekend everybody's gonna be on such a high from getting to meet everyone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no one's gonna sleep.
No.
No sleep.
Let's see. What are some tips you might have for those attending their first convention?
So comfortable shoes. You can always crop out your shoes in the pictures. It is not worth wearing heels, wearing uncomfortable shoes, because nobody's going to be looking at your feet anyways. So don't, just don't. Every time I see somebody wearing heels at a con, I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? Wear comfortable shoes. I don't care. And normally after that first day, people are like, yep, I should have listened. I should have worn shoes. My feet are screaming. Portable chargers for sure. I would bring snacks with you. We will have they'll have their cafe open there at the convention center for you to buy food from and water, but I would definitely bring snacks, because especially if you bought a lot of stuff and you're going to be waiting in line, you're going to want something to snack on. Portable chargers for your phone. And then probably the biggest tip would be talk to people in line, because you guys are all there to meet the same people. And so if you're in line to meet somebody, just strike up a conversation with them, because I mean, you could truly be meeting your best friend, like, and you just don't even know, like, because that's, I mean, how we all met. And we've seen so many friendships form at our conventions, like people that now travel and just go on trips together that would have never met had they not like struck up a conversation, either like in the Facebook group for the event or just in line. And so you'll meet so many people that you would have never came in contact with. So have those conversations, just talk and have fun, be a complete fangirl, fanboy at the con. Like, I mean, we still are putting on the events. So.
Forever a fangirl, fanboy, right?
Yes, always.
That's true what you say. I mean, that's how we all met.
Yep.
You know, we all live in different parts of the country too.
Yeah.
And we all met for the first time recently in person.
Yeah. So it's definitely like,
Yeah.
that's, and what you like put in at a con, because if you're like, oh, I'm waiting in line again, versus like, oh, I'm waiting in line to meet so-and-so, like it's all how you view it, because you are going to be waiting in line, like, especially if you bought a lot of stuff. So make the most of the line waiting, enjoy it. So.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are great tips. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. You actually answered 2 questions in one, so we're gonna
Oh, cool.
skip that one. We're just moving right along. What's the most hilarious or unexpected thing a celebrity guest has done at one of your conventions?
I'm trying to even think, because we've had so many like funny moments. Oh, so here's a really fun one. So Seth Gilliam, I think is how you say his last name, from Teen Wolf, he was on The Walking Dead. He asked us if he could come in to Posey's concert Friday night in March, and Posey had no idea. So we got Seth to the convention center, to Navy Pier, and we snuck him backstage. Posey had no clue. So I go up on stage when Posey's in between songs and was like, we have a surprise for you, blah, blah, blah. And he had no clue what it was. And then Seth comes right up behind me. And so Seth and Posey sang a song together. And that was like the coolest thing, because I mean, it was completely unplanned. It was a very last minute, like, hey, can I come? And so we let him do that. Another one, which is Tyler Posey again. He's funny. If you guys have not watched Teen Wolf, like it's so good. He is the funniest person. Like he's something. But he was just like out at the food trucks at one of our conventions, just like kind of bopping around. So we've had that happen. The Vampire Diaries ones, like, so the events that don't take place in convention centers, those always seem to be like where we have the funniest things happen, because like we transport them on golf carts from like place to place. And so funny things always happen with the golf carts. We had Elijah Moore from Legacies. He would do golf cart karaoke and take the golf carts. And so people would ride around on the golf carts with him and they would sing golf cart karaoke. He was not paying attention, ran a golf cart into a car. So like, I mean, there's so many funny things that have happened, and like because our team's so busy during the con, like we never even realized like what's happening during it until after the fact. So those are probably like the 2 funniest like things that have happened, or like coolest, most unique things. So yeah.
Oh, that is funny.
Oh gosh. Let's see.
Little fun fact for people listening and watching, that Tyler's brother, Jesse, was featured on Station 19 too.
Oh, yes. But there you go. Trivia.
The first listener or viewer that tells me what episode will win a prize.
Oh, hey.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Don't cheat and look it up, though.
Have you guys ever had a surprise guest appearance at a convention? And if so, what was the reaction like? Has anyone ever just shown up?
I don't think we've ever had anybody just show up, because we've always known, but it hasn't been anybody that's like came out like on the panel stage or like gone into photos or something like that.
Makes sense.
First time for everything.
Yeah. Yeah, never know.
Barrett, we're talking to you.
Barrett, come on. We know you love Chicago.
See, if you could have a dinner party with any 3 convention guests, past or future, who would you invite and why?
Okay, so Nikki Reed for sure. I love her. I could talk to her about her jewelry, her photography, like just, I mean, everything just for hours. This is one of her necklaces. But and then Tyler Posey, because he's like, he would be the funny one that would make like the dinner really lively and hilarious. And then the third person, I don't want to jinx, so I'm not saying it, but it's somebody that I like have really liked for a very long time. And I'm very much hoping that they will be joining one of our lineups soon.
Some of the vibes.
Fingers crossed.
From the vibes.
So, yeah. But yeah, Posey and Nikki for sure.
Wow, great people.
What's the craziest thing you've seen a fan ask to be signed?
Okay. This one, when I saw this question, I was like, yes. Okay, so we had somebody come to the Vampire Diaries event. They had a truck bumper.
Oh my God.
And I'm gonna see if I can find it because I took a picture of this because I was like, this is so crazy. And it was like the coolest thing because I'm like, and they are hanging it up in their house. Let's see.
Only in Georgia.
Yeah, but I'm like, this is like the most unique thing. Like, let's
A
see.
bumper.
And also, how did they carry that over? I don't know. It seems uncomfortable.
Like 3 people. There were so many.
Yeah, the bumpers are heavy. Unless it's plastic.
No, it was heavy. Dang it, I know I took a picture of this. Here, okay. So this was Ian signing it. But I mean,
Oh,
it's
wow.
the entire table.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it had like Joseph had signed it. They're upside down on here, so I don't know whose signature that is. But I know Joseph and then Gillies had signed it, and then they were having Ian and Paul.
Huh.
And I was like, this is like really cool. But they were just initially going to have like one person sign it, is what they were telling Ian. And then they decided just to start having everybody sign it. And like the husband ended up like having to buy a new bumper because they're paying for the wall now. So, but I was like, that was like, it was crazy, but it was really cool because it was such like a different thing that you
Yeah.
don't see. Like we see the autograph boards all the time. I have a deck of the One Chicago cards that were given to the cast and crew, and it was the year that Chicago Justice was on, because like that was the 4th like suit in the deck, and obviously now it's like that's going to be impossible to get those signatures, but so we see like things like that all the time and like canvases, but bumper was definitely a first. So
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
The award for originality.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned that you have something that you have everybody sign. Is it like a vision board or?
So I have for the Vampire Diaries, I have a canvas and it's a picture I took of the clock tower in Covington. The Chicago ones, I have the deck of cards and it has, I think fire is like clubs and then like, then there's what med, then there's PD and then justice, and they each all have their own suit. And
That's really cool.
our house is getting painted right now, so everything's like a mess, or otherwise I'd be able to grab them and show you. And then the One Tree Hill one is like a wooden autograph board that my husband made for me. So, but most of the girls on our teams, we all have like boards or canvases. And it's funny because like we love having all these people at the events, but then if we get somebody from a new show, it's like, dang it, now I have to get a new canvas and then I have to get around. So like I know Sid just had one made for Station 19 that she's having signed, and then we have like some people coming from Chicago that she hasn't met yet, so she has to bring that one. And so it's like when we travel to even like our own conventions, it's like you have a whole suitcase of all your things to get signed. But yeah.
Forever a fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh, very cool.
That
Let's
is
see. Have
really
you ever seen fans attending in costume? And if so, what's the most memorable you've seen?
So the funniest one, and I have a picture of this too. So we have our event in June in Covington. It was called the June Wedding, which was a theme during the show. We had some people that wore wedding dresses for their photo ops. Like they would go get changed into wedding dresses. And it was the funniest thing. And yesterday we were posting for our let's see. There we go. Sydney was posting for like our volunteers, so that way our new volunteers knew who everybody was. And one of our autograph booth leads, that was the picture that she sent in for us to post. And I'm like, but it was so funny because like we had so many people that like bought wedding dresses just to wear for like some of their photos. And it was so funny seeing that. And I'm like, this is great. And then in March, when we had the Roswell, New Mexico one, like some of the Roswell cast there, we had people dressed up in like what they wore, like working at like the diner there, like the little alien costumes. And so we had people wearing that, like even with like the aluminum foil and everything. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. And the cast got a kick out of it because they were like, this is neat seeing like that the show that I was in impacted them so much. And then now they're here to meet me and they're like dressed up like this. So we've seen that. Twilight, people were wearing like the contacts. And so like, and the first time I saw it, because like I'd never seen that in person, I felt so rude because I was working like the on-site ticket sales table and I just like staring at this guy. I'm like, are those contacts? And he's like, yeah, I bought them for this. And I'm like, that's so cool. Like, so getting to see those things is really neat.
Yeah, I
But
love
yeah.
it. Oh my gosh. The
That's funny.
creativity people have just blows my mind. I'm not creative at all, so I'm like,
I'm not either. I know I'm like black t-shirt and jeans. Here I am.
Yeah, that's literally my uniform. Like if you want to see me in jeans and a black t-shirt.
Yeah, I know. That's what everybody always says. That's Alexis's uniform right there.
It's great. Well, we'll know how to find you.
Yeah.
Let's see. How can one become a volunteer if you're interested in future conventions?
Yeah, so on our website, we have an apply link and you can click on that and then it gives the drop down for the different events that you can apply to volunteer. I will say like we have about like 80 to 90% of our volunteers always return, which I think speaks volumes because they're so happy. Like we have such a great group of volunteers and like it's became this wonderful community. So it's always just like those few spots that we have to fill in. But apply on there. Our multi-fandom ones, like I would say if you like ever want to get your foot in the door with volunteering for us, the multi-fandom one is probably the way to go. Just because like, especially with Vampire Diaries, we now have like so many of them are like loyal to or local to Georgia that it's easy for them to get there. So like they'll keep volunteering for those like always. But
yeah,
sure.
Multi-fandom, probably if you're wanting to start volunteering with us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
In the future, would Epic ever do a more intimate Station 19 Grays convention?
So I think with that, I mean, we're not saying no to the idea, but I think it would have to be because like obviously like Grace has been on for so long, it's hard to get a lot of the main cast. Like Ellen, like it would be really hard to get those people that were like on it from day one. But I mean, it's definitely not a no. It's something we'd consider because we like the shows. Like we've been doing a Grey's rewatch just so that way, like going into the con, I'm like, okay, I remember because like the earlier seasons, it's been so long since you've watched. And I think
20
we're
years.
on like, yeah, I'm like, but I think we're like on season 16 now. So like we're getting close to being caught back up again.
Caught up.
Because like after Derek died, I like
stopped.
Yeah, because I'm like, what? This is terrible. Why did they do this? But so we're definitely not saying no, but I know for right now, like we haven't added that as of yet for 2025. So I don't know, maybe.
Okay,
Okay.
fair
TBD.
enough. I guarantee you anything station related will sell out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's been so cool to see because I'm like, it's been really neat seeing, and so many fans were like so excited. Like every single post where we would announce somebody, Stefania when. Like
They are getting a little crazy.
Imani like got on there and commented. She's like, CC everyone. Like if we could add everybody on Instagram, we would have added everybody on Instagram and been like, we are, here's Stefania. But yeah, no, Station 19 has been really cool. And like, we've gotten so many of our volunteers that like haven't watched the show. Like they've watched it now and they're like, we weren't even like looking forward to meeting anybody from it because we hadn't seen the show and so we didn't know who anybody was. And then they're like, I want to meet everybody. Like this cast is so great. And that was such a great show. So it's so sad that they aren't renewing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone that has walked away from that show is just so excellent.
Well, and I mean, who knows, like we can be hopeful. Maybe it'll be something like Manifest where like another network picks it up or something. But just
well, and that's what we keep telling people is, you know, maybe not now.
Yep.
But a year, 2, 3, it has happened before.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes this convention so special for a lot of people too, is just because, you know, all the shows are renewing and the fall seasons are starting to film and we know they're coming. And so we're like, okay, at least we get fed a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
It's very exciting. Do you have anything to tease those that are going to be attending ECC2 with?
So we have some cool things that we'll be announcing like in addition to our event teas that I think people are going to be excited about. So we're hoping here soon we can make that announcement on what the additional thing is, but I think people from one of the shows will be very happy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're very excited. We want to make sure that for those that aren't aware of the website, it's www.epiccons.com. So go check it out. They have lots of amazing events already planned all the way into next year. We're really excited about that. And of course, we're excited to be in Chicago for our first convention as of us. And then we know there's a lot of fans that have been to many conventions and they're just as excited too. It's only, what, 5 weeks away now?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's like 5 weeks. Crazy.
No time. Yeah. It's so excited. But yeah, if you haven't grabbed tickets yet, make sure you go visit epiccons.com. Go get your tickets for all your favorite guests before they sell out, because we know this is going to be a big deal. Everyone's excited. So thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us today.
Yes.
Hopefully we weren't too chaotic. We tried to keep it calm.
Oh, I'm chaotic. You're good.
I do have a follow-up question. Okay. For any last minute people that decide they want to come, how long will ticket sales be open? Or will they be open till the day of? Or
yeah, so we will end up leaving them open up until like early registration, which that's another thing we're finalizing tomorrow when we meet with the venue. Like what time we can do early registration that Friday. So up until like that Thursday, people will be able to buy tickets, but starting on Friday, like it's either you have tickets or you don't. So.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you waited that long.
Yeah, I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, this is very exciting. Side note, do you have any, because you go to Chicago, you've been there a few times. We're foodies. Where do we need to go? What's your place?
Are you guys staying in Rosemont or are you staying downtown?
Rosemont.
What's our city? Is it Rosemont?
You might as well say Rosemont. It's close enough.
We're getting an Airbnb that's just like a little bit outside by the airport, but we'll be traveling that way.
So if you guys haven't been to Chicago before, you'll want to do one of the deep dish pizza places. I personally, which I'm in the minority here, Gino's East is better than Giordano's. But if
I agree. I live 2 hours south of Chicago and I go to Chicago all the time. And yes.
Yep. Yeah, Gino's East is better.
Giordano's is overrated.
Yes, it is. I'm like, but yeah, Gino's East. But then I'm not like a huge pizza person. Like pizza's not my thing. But I'm trying to remember where else we ate in Rosemont that was really good. Because downtown there's a lot of restaurants that, what is the one? There's one downtown that I found recently, and it's called Remington's.
Remington.
Yeah, and it's like right there, like right on Magnificent Mile. And they have like steaks and seafoods. But it's really good. And it hasn't been busy any of the times I've been in there, which is surprising because like I feel like their food is probably the best that I've had in Chicago. And we like grew up because I only live like 2.5 hours from there. Like we grew up going to Chicago a lot, and I'm like, I wonder how long this place has been here because like the food's way better than everywhere we used to go. So, but that's really good. And then if you guys have time, go visit Navy Pier, ride the Ferris wheel because it's really neat getting to see like the city from there. Trying to think of what else. But yeah, Rosemont, like there's a lot of little restaurants, and there's like a little walk around area not too far from there that you can kind of walk around, and there's like a comedy club right there. And they have like different restaurants that you can eat at. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you. Okay, wrote those down. They're on the list.
Of all cities in the US, why did you guys pick Chicago? Obviously.
So the one Chicago shows, but we also like we're trying to do cities that are somewhat close to us because like it's obviously like it's easy for me to get to Chicago. So like me going to go meet with the venue tomorrow, like it's a 2.5 hour drive. And then Anna is centrally located to like Covington, Atlanta area. So like that covers the Savannah venue for next year. And then Sydney and Jess and Julia are all up like in the Massachusetts, New York area. So Boston's like easy for them.
Sure.
And also like we don't want to do anything out west. From what we've seen, like conventions out west don't really do well. So we kind of want to stay like this side of the Mississippi as much as possible, like, and just for travel purposes, like
Awesome. Yeah.
I think it's
No,
easier.
no complaints from me because
Me either.
it's right in my
On the East
backyard.
Coast.
Well, yeah, and Chicago's like easy to get to. Like
It is.
Chicago's super easy to get to. Boston's easy to fly into. Savannah is probably like our most difficult that we've done so far, but it's also like people want to visit there. And that one, like, I don't know if you've seen like the guests that we've announced for it. So it's like Twilight and Once Upon a Time so far. So like kind of that whole vibe, like the like vamp witchy, like
Yes.
yeah.
Savannah. Savannah's amazing. I love Savannah.
And I'm like, that's like the perfect place for that. Like,
It is.
so I'm excited.
My-
Well, and you never know, like we announced Kat for the one in Chicago for next July, so you never know who else might pop up for that one.
Yeah, I told her about
Yeah.
that. And I said, oh, we might be able to go to one closer.
Yeah, because it's funny, like every time we're like, we're not having any Vampire Diaries people, and then it's like Riley Vocal coming to Epiccons Chicago too. Like,
Like,
you can't
take
get
them
away
all.
from them. You can't get
no,
away.
we
Yeah.
love them. Like they honestly, like they're such a great cast to work with. Like we are very, very fortunate, and I mean they're just wonderful. And it's like anytime we can squeeze them in, like we're gonna squeeze them in, just because
Yeah.
they're so great.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You treat people right and they treat you right back. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that's what we
Yeah.
love about Station.
And that's
Is
well, and like I mean, they're people too, and so
Mhm.
like we treat them like people, and I mean, it's the same thing. Like, I mean, they're guests to our convention, so it's like we try to make sure that they're happy and take care of them. So
awesome.
Speaks volumes. Yeah, keeps them coming back.